morning. How are you this morning? I am great and ready to take on today. It's 2 for Tuesday, 2 acts of random kindness. I was just sitting here watching my little video things that I like to watch in the morning. I like to get encouraged in the morning. I've been listening to music and I've been watching these little videos. And that's how I set my day up for success. I think it's so important that you set up today for success. So early in the morning during the fourth watch, if you don't know what the fourth watch is, go ahead and Google that because it's a very important time of the day. I always wake up and I pray. And when I pray, I do the download. I say, hey, God, what are we praying for today? And he gives me a letter. And then when he gives me a letter, I do the vows with it. And so I just start praying for whatever name, whatever business I come up with. And that's a great way to start my prayer life. And then I always be thankful. I always come up with 3 or 4 things. Even if they're the same 3 or 4 things, it doesn't matter. But to be thankful to start my day. So an attitude of gratitude. Get up. I ask God, what are we going to do today? And I always giggle when I say that because it's like I just get excited saying, what are we going to do today? It's kind of like when the kids come home and just instead of saying, how was your day? You say, what was the best part of your day? And then you start talking about what was the best part of your day. So when I say, what are we going to do today? I get excited to see what God is going to do today. And so here I am getting ready for work. You know, I always make my bed first and get my clothes and I start my day. As I'm driving into work, I'm praying for the different businesses along the way. And when I see that tower and the light on the top of the tower, I praise the Lord for lighting because there was a time that we had a black tower. We lost the lighting and we didn't know how it was going to get back. But God. I come around that corner and I'm praying for every business that stops by today or has a program today. And, you know, I just set my day up for success. How do you set your day up for success? Are you a prayer person early in the morning? Or do you have a grateful heart? Do you ask God what you're doing today? I don't know how you set your day up, but it's very important to get excited about the day. I'm a worshiper. No, I can't sing. I wish I could sing, but in my mind I can. But I love music, every kind of genre I probably love. But, you know, I love praise and worship, and I love live praise and worship. And so I was looking at that this morning and been coming up with some different ideas on how to usher us through the day. You know, it's a setup for your day, and everything involves with what you put into it. And I believe by putting good things into my mind, body, and soul. I believe in putting encouraging things in there. Now, there's going to be some things during the day that try to ruin it. There is. But, you know, if you keep praising the Lord, and when something comes against you, you say, you know what? Maybe this or maybe that, and start having grace and start having your hallelujah and start getting excited. Yeah, things are going to happen, but you can push yourself through them. I was so excited yesterday. I was able to do something for a family in need. And, you know, I was just honored that God chose me to help that family in need. And, you know, if you look at it like that, he chose you to do this or chose you to do that. It changes your stinking thinking. We do have some stinking thinking. We can always think of something that isn't going our way or whatever. But when God says, do this, man, it is special because I feel like when he's asking me to do something, it is for me. And he's saying, I trust you enough to go ahead and take care of that. And so yesterday, all throughout the day, I kept hearing this, you know, audibly voice that kept saying this thing. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's just my flesh. Maybe it's just because of this. Or maybe, you know, I was kind of dismissing it all day long. And about, I don't know, right after I ate dinner, I guess it was dinner time. And God said, I asked you to do this. Can you do that? So I did it. And oh my gosh, I was just like so darn excited because he used me to meet a need. He used me to do something. And it blessed me probably more than it blessed the person. But see, God does that. He wants to see if you're obedient. He wants to see how you're going to act. I am a faithful person. So is my husband. I said he's Mr. Faithful and I'm Mrs. Faithful. And, you know, when I really took that to heart, you know, God, years ago, my mom had said that I was faithful. And at first I just thought, okay. And then God said, take that to heart and do that with all things that you do. And I thought, well, how do I do it with all things I do? I'm faithful in my giving. I'm faithful in my time. I'm faithful in my job ethics. I'm faithful with my home ethics. So if you start being faithful in all the things, God's going to say, okay, look at you. You are doing exactly what I asked of you. So how are you going to set up today? What are you going to do today to be the hands and feet of Jesus right here on earth? What are you going to do? If he asks you to do some crazy thing today, are you willing? Are you able? Are you going to go for it? Yes, yes, yes. If you know me, I'm the yes girl. People always think that, I don't know if I should ask her about that, or I don't, no, I want to help you. I want to help you make your ministry successful. I love WAPN. We're 40 years here. I love what I do. I love my different ministries. I love all things radio. But I really love is to help your ministry become successful. Help you, the entrepreneur, you, the small ministry, you, the person that wants to just, talk to Jesus, you, the person that just wants to pray, you, the person that wants to do a music show. I want to help you become successful using our airwaves, using the different geeky things that I have to have and making it happen. And so I love to train. I love to bring you in here in this room. I call it's like sitting at a kitchen table. I love to teach you about how to get over the airwaves. And we can do it as easy as you call me today. We can get you on the air literally today. And so it's a special place here. It really is. I remember when I first came here, I thought, how am I ever going to make it? And God kept saying, you show up and I'll do the rest. And I kept showing up. And I didn't even know why I was showing up some days. Some days were just literally, why was I even doing this? Some days I would leave here crying. Some days I would leave here laughing. Some days I would leave here rejoicing. I remember one time I answered the phone and it was a mom child was going through brain surgery. Well, my daughter had surgery on her brain when she was 4 years old. And so I knew what that was like. And so God used that testimony of my life to help somebody else. And I got it. At that very moment, I got it. And then the music, my parents liked a certain kind of music, and that was fine. And I love all kinds of music. So over the years, God kept helping me with music. And a few times, maybe I failed. I remember the time I deleted all the music and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I kept hitting, and it didn't come back. And God said, you have 3 minutes, do what you want to do. And I was like, 3 minutes? And then you have 3 more minutes. And then you have to build, a file. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I did it. And now he's teaching me, and he's asking me, and he's helping me to do some other things with music. And so as I'm growing and learning and trying, and it is trial and error, I'm praising the Lord. And I'm going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But I know that God is with me and for me. And with him, we are going to make it through. So as I'm on this journey, I get excited about different things that he's doing. And so thankful for different things he's doing. Over the weekend, Yvonne and I were out doing some errands, and we don't get to do that much anymore. She's got a successful business right now that she's having to put her all in. And there will be a moment in a time when she can step back and it will run more smoothly. But right now, she has to put it all in. And I remember there was a moment in a time where I couldn't walk away from WAPN, that I was, stuck here until we got that automation system, or until we, got the way to people to get in and out of the building, or whatever the item was. And so as you're in every season that you go through, because we all go through seasons, rejoice and be happy and be glad in the season that you're in. Even though the season might be a little uncomfortable, or you feel like you're a little stretched in this season, or overwhelmed, or you feel like maybe it's crickets. Maybe you're not hearing from God in this season. I don't know which season you're in. You be faithful and you show up and you see what God will do. Sometimes he'll put me in a situation and I think that he's wanting me to do it, and it's my flesh that's wanting me to do it. Yeah, because I don't want to disappoint, or I don't want to hurt, or whatever. So I have learned that when God is doing something, I always pray and say, is this of you? And if this is of you, it will go really smoothly. Everything will fall in place and it will happen. If this is not of you, allow me to participate but step back. And, that's a big thing. Participate, but step back. I can't be everywhere at all times and do everything at all times. And he's had me step back on a couple things in the last year. And it hurt my heart, mind, body, and soul. It did. I was like, what? I really love this part of my life. Why are you doing this? And he said, I am preparing you. And I thought, preparing me? I thought you prepared me for this. And he goes, no, you stepped into that. I am preparing you. And I thought, I'm preparing you. And as I wait on the Lord for him to prepare me and show me and teach me and guide me on whatever the item is, I am thankful. Because during that season, I seem to have to trust on him, with him more. I have to totally say, hey, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't even know what is going to play out. But I know that you've got it, God. And so when you're in that season, you can be very restless. Sometimes I do get restless. Sometimes I get like yesterday, something happened and I kind of got blamed for what happened. And I thought, I know that I didn't do that. I know that what I did, I prepared and I did this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was getting kind of frustrated. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take care of it in the morning. I couldn't take care of it at that moment. I was in the middle of something else. I wasn't going to allow it to steal the joy that I'd had that day and the things that I'd done. So I had to give it totally to God. I just had to say, you know what? I'm not sure. So I'm going to give it to you and I'm going to be able to walk away. So I gave it to God and I walked away and, slept good and had a great night's sleep and got up this morning. And the first thing on my mind was, I need to take care of that. And so when I got to the station and I looked for the item, it's not here. And I giggled. I said, I could have lost sleep. I could have been frustrated. I could have been overwhelmed. But God did not allow that. God said, leave it to me. And I'm learning to leave it to him. And I'm learning to trust him with what he asked me to do and where he asked me to go and what he asked me of. And those are very uncomfortable, hard things for me. I'm a person that I'll take care of it. I'll do it. And God's saying, no. Let me do it. Let me take care of it. So what kind of person are you? And as you're setting up today, are you allowing God to lead you and guide you? Step back and say, I am a willing and able participant. What would you like me to do today? And let's see how today goes. I'm excited to see how today goes. It's the last day of the month, so that is like the busiest day for me. And I know that God's got the best plan. I'm going to take my granddaughters to lunch. Even though it is a busy day, God says that is something very important, to have those moments with those teenagers. And I'm not going to give up those moments with those teenagers. We can laugh and we can be silly and we can talk about anything, and it's so special. And I'm so thankful. So allow God to lead you and guide you today and see how today goes. Let's get our favor on and let's get this day going. You've got to understand, God wants you to do things that he's never seen before. He wants to pour out his favor in unusual and extraordinary ways. And I feel that. Like today, I feel that something extraordinary is about to happen, and I can't wait to see what it is. You're listening to WAPN 91.5 FM. It is 2 for Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. The weather, 77 with a low of 64. Madison, 84 with a low of 60. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, Ronnie and Jewel and Jasmine and everybody else that's celebrating a birthday, anniversary, whatever you're celebrating. Safe traveling for my grandson as he comes home today. Today is National Crayon Day. Do you have a special colored crayon? I love to color. I do. No matter what age I am, I like to color. And I like the good colors. The cheaper ones, they just don't do it as good. But I do like to color. And I think I'd always wanted to go and get a color with my name on it. I don't know why. What color would that be? I don't know. But I always think about that. Remember to like, share, and follow WAPN 91.5 FM, Hope Fest, Trinity Music and Media. It's very important to like, share, and follow and ask people to partner in with us. We are doing the Easter flyers and Good Friday flyers over the air, over Facebook. So if you send me over WAPN@WAPN.net, I would love to share your flyer about what is going on Friday night and Sunday. We all have a wonderful, great 2 for Tuesday. I am praying for you.